Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Kahlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hi everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains Mardi Gras.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
What a fun time, huh?
Yeah, and it's timely because Mardi Gras was on the 17th and this episode is going to drop on the 18th.
That's like right on time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you know about Mardi Gras?
So the only thing I know about Mardi Gras is growing up in San Luis Obispo, there used to be like a Mardi Gras parade downtown. And I remember my parents took me when I was young. And I don't know if that was like the most appropriate thing to take like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to downtown Mardi Gras in a college city, because it was like basically everything you can imagine, including like the beads and the drinking and the celebration. But it used to be a really big thing, and then I think around the 2000s they stopped for whatever reason. I don't really know why they stopped, but they're like, maybe it's too much. But it would get out of control. Like people would climb on the trees and like the poles. So that's probably honestly why they stopped. And then just anything I've seen in like lore, which is mostly New Orleans, Bourbon Street, people, having a good time. There was like a reality TV show about like police and like patrol, and one of them was like based in Louisiana, and it was
Oh wow,
it was super interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably good content.
Yeah, I think it's like the Bayou Vegas, essentially. That's the vibe I get. Just no inhibitions, and I'm sure like all the tourists go and just act a fool for sure.
Yeah, so we will talk about its origins and why it is what common knowledge thinks it is. But did you know it has ties to the Catholic Church and it's not just like a random celebration?
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised. So,
yeah.
Funny enough, I think right before we started recording this, we were talking about, are we calling it Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday or just Mardi Gras?
So we can talk about it, but Mardi Gras literally means Fat Tuesday in French.
Okay. In Creole?
No, in French.
Oh, in French. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But Mardi Gras is, how you would say it. But Fat Tuesday is how you would say it in English. But
and we totally got into the mood. We got the beads. And
yes, we
did.
The
sequin blazer and the fun colors. I was looking through my wardrobe and I was like, what should I wear for this episode? And I have this like cool, it's a golf shirt that I got for Christmas. So I was like, that kind of worked out. And then we kind of have the same colors. So
yeah.
That really worked out.
So it's pretty much what we've talked about ad nauseum in other episodes. All roads lead back to the Catholic Church. It was an integration of pagan traditions with Catholicism.
And this is not an exception, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Originally, Mardi Gras, like the true essence of it, stems from Saturnalia and Lupercalia, which are basically very like, fabulous, indulgent, fertile rituals where people would like eat and drink to excess, have like sometimes big orgies. Specifically with, I think, Lupercalia, there was also some like animal sacrifice, and it was more to make sure that like fertility and abundance would continue. So there's a lot of like themes of excess, and then the Catholic Church came in and was like,
nope, we're shutting that down. Yeah.
They were like, how can we make this make sense?
I honestly am not surprised. I can't imagine the church would be cool with that. And where are the origins from? Is it from France?
So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So there's a long history as to how we got here. So I'm going to start from the top. So yes, we talked about
at the very beginning.
Yes, in the very beginning with Saturnalia and Lupercalia. But yes, Mardi Gras is a French word meaning Fat Tuesday. It's always the day before Ash Wednesday, and it's always 37 days before Easter.
Okay.
So that's how the date is decided.
Yes.
So this year, Mardi Gras is on February 17th, and Easter is on April 5th. So if you do the math, it's 47 days. So to summarize really quickly, what is Mardi Gras? It is a celebration of feast and excess before 40 days of fasting and prayer known as Lent.
Okay. It's just an excuse to party, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you know you're going to start a diet and you're like, I'm going to eat
That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to eat all the bad shit and do all the bad things and have like one final like bed rot day. That's basically what Mardi Gras is.
There was a scene in The Office where they're doing like a weight loss challenge, and they have like one final meal so they can like gain a bunch of weight. And then right before, when it's time to like weigh in, Dwight goes in and put, like sprays bug spray all over the food so nobody else can eat it.
Yeah. So that's basically what's going on with Mardi Gras. So like I said, we will talk about Lent later, but I do have to talk about Lent now to understand Mardi Gras.
Yes.
So Lent is a 40-day period where people fast and pray and are really strict. You know how people have done, what was it? Like 30 hard, 60 hard, 90 hard.
Yeah, 75 hard.
75 hard.
Yes.
This is like 40 hard. Spiritual edition.
There's a funny quote from King of the Hill where Peggy pretends to be a nun at a school.
Oh, yes.
And they're like asking her, if I like church, can I give that up for Lent? And Peggy is like, well, that's an interesting one, but I think you caught God in a loophole, so yeah, you're good.
That would not fly in actual Sunday school. But why 40 days? Lent is 40 days because Jesus spent 40 days fasting and in the wilderness. And also 40 is a mystic number that is repeated in the Bible. So 40 in like Christian numerology, biblical numerology is judgment, testing, and spiritual growth. So for example, Noah's flood was 40 days and 40 nights. Moses' fast was 40 days and 40 nights. Israel spent 40 years in the wilderness, and then Jesus spent 40 days in the desert.
I do wonder why it's like 40. I wonder if they thought it was like a cool number back in the day.
Let me put my tinfoil hat on for a second.
Okay.
I think I found the reason why.
Your tinfoil hat that matches your
That
blazer.
matches my blazer. So Venus retrograde is 40 days long. Venus represents, fabulousness, excess, indulgence, sex, all of those things. So when it goes retrograde for 40 days, we don't have as much of that. So, I mean, to me, it makes sense.
Sure.
I see the through line. But yes.
Am I confusing Venus retrograde with Saturn? Saturn's the one you have like in your 20s, right?
That's a Saturn return.
Saturn return, okay.
I mean, Saturn does retrograde, but yes,
Okay.
You're thinking of a Saturn return. But
Okay, do you think though it's like the Venus retrograde, so that's what the mood is? Or do you think it got adapted by like early Christianity observing pagan beliefs that they have like this Venus retrograde thing going on?
the three wise men were astrologers.
Oh.
That's how they knew that Jesus was coming. If you believe in the Bible and all of that, but like they were astrologers. They looked at the stars and they were like, the Messiah is coming this day, this time. That's what astrologers do. They do divination and they're like, around this day, this time, XYZ thing will happen.
And
so
Jesus showed up? Yeah.
according to the Bible, who knows if Jesus was a real person, not a real person that was like, sort of like sprinkled in history. Regardless, the three wise men were astrologers. So,
Oh, okay, perfect.
yeah, at least that's what a lot of astrologers believe.
So it's the release before the 40 days of Lent.
Yes, like the final hoorah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like I said, it's sort of like, the diet is starting tomorrow. You eat one last Oreo type of vibe.
Do you think there's those like hardcore Christians who are like, I'm going to do Lent, but like Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras is like of the devil or whatever, and then
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are definitely some hardcore purists that are like, you should never be like flashing your titties for some beads. Like, of
never
course.
be happy.
Of course. You should never be happy. Yes, of course. But just like anything, it's folk traditions, folk magic, etc. But Mardi Gras,
But not everywhere, right? Because if we think about like Mexico, I don't think they celebrate. I know that it's like Ash Wednesday is huge, Good Friday, obviously Easter, which is Pascua, but they actually don't do Fat Tuesday, right?
I'm not sure about Mexico, but you're getting ahead of my next point.
Oh, okay.
So Mardi Gras is a type of carnaval. It's the Louisiana Creole carnaval. So we know Brazilian carnaval. That's the Friday before Ash Wednesday, but it's still like the same vibe of like Lent is coming.
Is it based on? Do do you think it's based on Mardi Gras? Because Carnaval is huge in Brazil.
You're getting ahead of me.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I'm going to explain it all.
No.
There is like a root and then they will stem. So let's talk about that. Carnaval comes from medieval Latin, which is carnalevarium, which means to take away or remove meat. So we have this medieval European Latin carnalevarium.
Sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
It does. Traditionally, people would binge on indulgent foods like meat, cheese, lard, eggs, and milk because, again, 40 days, it'll just be fish and fasting. Side note, this is why the filet o fish from McDonald's exists. And I do have a birthday for the sandwich. So if you guys want me to analyze the filet o fish's birth chart, let me know for a future episode.
Can we take a side tangent on that? Do you like the filet o fish?
I actually do.
It's fucking fire. A lot of
really
people
good.
think it's so gross because of like the tartar sauce, but it's so good. It doesn't taste. I don't think it tastes like any fish I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
But the steamy bun and then the cheese and the tartar sauce is so good.
I will say it's like one of my top like favorite foods from McDonald's. I don't go to McDonald's as much anymore, but like when I do, I will fuck one up.
Should we go get McDonald's after this?
Maybe, yeah. So Carnaval, aka Mardi Gras, went from Rome to the rest of Europe. So then when it went to France, in French, Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. In Brazil, Carnaval. In Quebec City, Winter Carnival. In Venice, Carnevale. In Denmark, Fastevland. And then in Germany, Carnaval, Fastnacht, or Fasting. Cindy, if you're listening, please send me a voicemail and correct my pronunciation. Cindy is our loyal listener from Germany, and I actually interviewed her in episode 77 when she was in the Central Valley. So yeah, let me know if I pronounce that correctly. But ultimately, what all of these different carnavals do is they celebrate before Lent.
I see.
So that's how all of that happened. And of course, each one of them will absorb different traditions based on like the original.
Regionality. Oh, the original or the regionality?
Well, yeah, the original culture or the regionality,
got it.
however you want to call it. But something that they all have in common and the way that it started was indulgent food. It's around carne. Meat, indulgent food. And so it has a lot to do with like substance, life source. And it's like, you don't need any other life source than Jesus. It's kind of the vibe. Like Jesus will sustain you through the fast. I know, right? Yeah. So
I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Mardi Gras. Because I don't know. I can't imagine knowing how you grew up and knowing your parents that they were big, like, let's go fucking find beads.
Again, Mardi Gras is more of like a southern thing / a tourist thing. I guess Slow did it. Surprise.
Yeah, Slow did it up big. Like Mardi Gras was huge and Slow.
Yeah, no, we didn't do that. I mean, my parents were kind of more Catholic purists to the point where we didn't celebrate Dia de los Muertos and any of that like witchy stuff. Yeah.
So this is all planned. We're planning on doing kind of these festivities, Mardi Gras. We're gonna have a Lent episode coming up. But one thing that I think is I want to share an anecdote, and maybe it's more close to Easter. But I got invited to a friend's church for Easter a few years ago. And I was very hungry, and they were like, well, come through. There's going to be like a huge like church barbecue, and it's like going to be fun. So I was like, cool, that sounds good. So mind you, I didn't eat because he said there was going to be like a lot of food. So I show up, and they're like, okay, we're going to have like sermon first. And I guess in Christian church is what not a pastor. It's a pastor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If it's the friend I'm thinking of, they're not Catholic. They're
Christian.
Yeah, they're more like a Protestant version of Christianity. Yes. So yeah, probably a pastor.
But essentially, they were going through like the meaning of each day. So they did talk about like Good Friday. There's like another one, Palm Sunday,
Ash Wednesday, all that stuff. Yeah.
But they started with I think maybe like Ash Wednesday, and it was taking a while. They were going through it, and I was like, I went over to my buddy and I was like, hey, like I'm kind of hungry. How long is this fucking thing gonna take? Like the church. I was like, are they gonna go through like every day of the week? And he's like, no, they're only gonna touch on like one or two. And I was like, okay, cool, I can wait that long. Tell me why they went through the whole week. And each day took like half an hour. I was mad and hungry and in a church. Like literally the worst combination, if you know me, for me to be in. And I was so pissed. I was like, damn, I should have just shown up at like the time the food was ready. So I showed up thinking I was gonna eat, and I had to like sit through 7 days of the week. It was like, I shit you not, like 3 hours of like sermon and like lectures and the importance of Easter, and I was so pissed off. But then the food was really good, so that kind of made up for it.
Are you sure it wasn't the book of Genesis where it was like, on the first day God created, and on the second day God did this?
No, because they did talk about, I specifically remember they talked about Palm Sunday, Easter, and then maybe not Ash Wednesday, because those are for the Catholics. But they talked about like, I remember they went through maybe not 7 days of the week, but they did at least 5, and it was just like, it was not it for sure. And then it was one of those things where, and I know you can relate to this because you grew up going to mass, where you think like the church is over or the sermon is over, and then it's like, no, it's not over. So there was a point where I was like, okay, is this the ending point? And then they'd be like, and now like, let's do singing. I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
you know what's really interesting? Each church, even in the Catholic Church, will have their own flavor, and it's all dependent on the priest. Some priests are like, get in, get out, and others are like, you're going to sit here until I tell you to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It just depends, but it sounds like they went hard. I mean, for the special days like Easter, Christmas, they're going to go hard.
Yeah.
But you didn't grow up going to church, so I'm not surprised that you were blindsided.
I don't think I've ever been to an Easter service, and I've never been to a Christmas service. Like, yeah, I feel like that would take forever.
Yeah.
The one I did go to a few times as a kid was, I don't know if we've talked about this, but we have the day, like, the Virgin Day, the Dia de Guadalupe,
the day of the Immaculate Conception, probably.
Where they carry her little statue around,
like on December 10th or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But it's like really, really early in the morning. Yep. We had it in Guad, so I used to live in Sloan. It was in Guad. So
and Guad is short for Guadalupe.
For Guadalupe, yeah. So for reference, it was like just like a 45-minute drive, like a 50-minute drive from San Luis Obispo. And I don't know why, but it had to be done like super early in the morning. It was like midnight or something. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to drive. And I think I went 1 or 2 years, and I was like, nah, like that's not for me.
Did your family just go for like just to be part of the booyah, the crowd?
Yeah, maybe it's for like my grandma. I don't know. But yeah, they kind of carried her. I do remember they had like hot chocolate and pan dulce, so that kind of made up for it a little bit.
There's always like a feast after.
Yeah. We're getting a little sidetracked, but I feel like when I met you, y'all were like hosting the Virgin statue, right?
Yeah, there's a very interesting thing that I don't even know if it's like Catholic or if it's like folk Catholicism, but there's like a statue of the Virgin Mary that gets passed around, and people sign up and they're like, I want her for 2 days in my house.
Just babysitting.
Or more just like it's a special time that I have her and I can like pray to her, and then people just like pass her around until like you go back on the list if you want to. So yeah, that was like a very interesting thing. And then when, her statue would be at our house, we would like pray to it and stuff. So yeah.
I got to see that still. Yeah. It reminds me when you're in school and there's like the house, like the class pet. And for the weekends, you would rotate, like, taking care of the pet.
Something like that. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I'm getting way too on tangent.
I don't think my mom does that anymore. But yeah, she used to.
She used to. So what was your experience with Mardi Gras? Did they ever talk about it at church, or they just focus mostly on Lent?
Literally, my only introduction to Mardi Gras was like reality TV in the 2000s.
Hell yeah.
Seeing chicks like with their titties out and stuff. Of course, they were like blurred because it was like prime time.
Yes.
I think it was like Cops. Like, Cops Louisiana version.
Cops would have like the Mardi Gras version.
Yeah.
They had the Girls Gone Wild like infomercials, and I think that was like they had that version as well.
And then I'm sure MTV did something like in the early days of reality TV.
Yeah, because they used to do MTV Spring Break, and then they used to do Maybe Mardi Gras. That I don't remember, but I'm sure. Yeah, there was something to do with that.
Yeah, so I knew more like the pop culture version of it, and then in church they would be like Mardi Gras, or like the day before Ash Wednesday is more like to have your one final like meal or the thing you're giving up for Lent. But yeah, I was never exposed to the what we know now as Mardi Gras. It was more like, get ready for Ash Wednesday tomorrow, think about what you want to give up and have it one last time.
That must be such an interesting dichotomy to go like balls to the wall and Mardi Gras, probably get fucked up, and then next day go all hungover to get your ashes.
Yeah, and there's different like levels of Lent. Like some people just give up meat on Fridays. Other people give up like meat the whole time. Some people even fast. It almost like, if people go on hard mode, it almost reminds me of Ramadan, where they do like a fast when the sun is out, and then when the sun is, no longer visible, then they can eat. One year I did try to do that, and it was very like spiritually profound. It was like very interesting. I felt like more clear-headed and able to do more of like my spiritual work when I was Catholic. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
I think
is that different than, and I don't know too much, but is that different than the Daniel fast? Because I've seen, well, again, going back to you, when we first started dating, you were going to church, and I remember I tagged along, and I think your church was doing the Daniel fast.
Yes. So that was going to be my next point. Some people go hardcore and they'll do the Daniel fast, which is like only eating like foods that existed in the Bible, like back in the day.
But is it around the same time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like nuts and seeds and fish and like basic bread, something like that.
Almost like paleo.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. It was probably like paleo. Yeah.
The Christian church doesn't celebrate like Mardi Gras, Ash Wednesday, right? That's just the Catholics? Or do the Christians do? No, Christians don't do Ash Wednesday, right?
I don't think they do Ash Wednesday, but they do follow the same calendar of like, 40 days before Easter, Jesus, or like 46, 47 days before Easter, Jesus did go into the wilderness. So maybe they don't call it the same thing, but they definitely have a similar
like
flow.
A version of it?
Yeah, because it's like Jesus was in the desert, so we're going to walk with him around this time of year. But yeah, I don't know if they do the whole like Palm Sunday, Good Friday thing, but honestly, the Daniel fast does come more from Protestantism.
Oh, I see. Okay. Asking the real questions now. What would be like your perfect Mardi Gras meal? It's giving last meal? Like,
Yes.
at death row?
Low key, yes.
But I'm curious, like, what would be your Mardi Gras meal?
A bunch of really fatty salmon sashimi.
Oh, okay.
I sound like a fucking cat, but yes, that would be like my indulgent, like really good sashimi, like nonstop.
I think I would try to stay on theme and do like an andouille sausage with like a gumbo and then some, what are those things? The donuts? Why am I forgetting it? They're so famous.
The beignets?
The beignets. And probably like a lobster roll or something like that.
Yeah. Like poutine, fries with gravy, all of that, like cheesy.
It's like Canadian though.
I know, but they also celebrate Winter Carnival, but it's like rich, indulgent, like even fettuccine I could think of as like super indulgent too. Like that really rich stuff. And I think that like my like caveman brain is like, what is fatty and tastes good to me? Salmon and tuna can be very, very fatty. So
that's true. And avocado and
so that would be my Mardi Gras meal, is just nonstop fatty sashimi.
And my last controversial question before the ad break, because you're on the Venn diagram of like the gays and the ex-Catholics, which do you think goes harder, Folsom Street Fair or Mardi Gras in New Orleans?
I think Folsom Street Fair.
Yeah, that's just,
I think
that's decadence for decadence sake.
Yeah. I think it's like they would continue it if they could, if the street was shut down for more than one day. Well, I guess Mardi Gras would too. And Mardi Gras does extend like sometimes even 7 days before. But
in New Orleans, you can go to the local police station and be like, hey, I want to have a parade. And you don't need a reason. You just can pay for like a parade route.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could have your own
really
little like 5-person parade. Yeah.
I think in any city you have the right to parade, but you have to like do it ahead of time and request certain streets and stuff. But I guess it's easier over there.
Yeah, it's part of it. So.
Oh, very cool. All right. Well, I'm excited to talk specifically more about Louisiana, Southern Mardi Gras right after this break. Today's episode is brought to you by us, Kythera Collective. If you've been vibing with the energy of the show, then you're going to love the Kythera Club over on Patreon. It's a space that I built for the cosmic, the curious, and the slightly chaotic. You know who you are. With 3 delicious tiers to choose from, we start with the chocolate level at $4 a month, which gains you access to weekly horoscopes and the exclusive Unhinged podcast, where I say things that don't make it to this main feed. It's sweet, it's spicy, and it's just for you. Next, we have the café level at $7 a month. This is where things really start to get cooking. You'll receive access to exclusive workshops, monthly virtual hangouts, and a private Discord community where you can chat directly with me and receive exclusive behind-the-scenes updates. It's magical, cozy, and a little unhinged in the best way. Finally, we have the tequila level. This is the VIP lounge. At $25 a month, you'll receive everything from the previous tiers, plus a personal 15-minute one-on-one session with myself or David each month, and discounts if you want to extend the session. It's a whole vibe and a powerful way to receive personalized guidance. So if you've been laughing along with us, crying or rage screaming in agreement, come hang out with us at the Kythera Club. Head over to patreon.com/JenCalo and choose your tier. If you want to sponsor an episode and advertise with us, go to our website, www.jencalo.com. All right, now back to the show. Welcome back. So how did Mardi Gras get to the United States? So we have a clue. It's French. So the first American Mardi Gras took place on March 3rd, 1699, when French explorers made it to New Orleans, Louisiana. However, some people argue that it was actually Mobile, Alabama, because Mobile was a really big nautical shipping trade port. So
Really?
Yeah.
You have the bayou in Louisiana. I don't know my geography. Is there like that Gulf essentially that it's like Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, and then they would. It's such a weird route to come through because I'm trying to picture like continental Europe. Like why wouldn't they just go to New York? Like it's a weird little hook down south, right?
I don't know. I can't imagine it right now, but that's a good question. Maybe we'll look at a map after this. But yeah, regardless, it made its way to the South. There were street parties, masked balls, and lavish dinners, but not what we think of in modern day. It was still true to like being indulgent and having
But
more
respectfully.
Yeah.
Respectfully. Keep it nice, yeah.
Imagine like Bridgerton parties.
I was thinking, is it like, oh my gosh. You can tell we're obsessed because this is our second episode in a row where we talk about a Bridgerton reference. But yes, I'm assuming you're talking about the masquerade party.
Yeah, more stuff like that. But yeah, it was nice and colorful and fun.
Oh, you fancy.
Yeah. However, when the Spanish came, because there was like a lot of, obviously Native Americans were there first, and then, the French, and then eventually the Spanish came and they took over New Orleans and they abolished Mardi Gras. But then Mardi Gras was able to be celebrated again when Louisiana became a U.S. state in 1812.
That was the Louisiana Purchase. You talked about Quebec. Do you think like French Canadian is the same as like Creole Canadian, like Creole French?
No.
No?
Because they have different, like we were saying, like root culture. So I mean, they both have French influence, but I mean, Canada is its own thing and the South is its own thing.
I think it's because I speak Spanish and we live in the U.S. I always see like the tentacles of like Spain and England within our culture, but I always forget about France. They had like a big influence.
And a lot of people forget Denmark.
Oh, Denmark, yes. And the Dutch. But the French also occupied Vietnam for a while. So that's where we got if you love banh mi's, which I do, it's based on like a French roll. And their alphabet also, when it's like, if you look at it, I guess it has
the Roman letters.
Yeah, it's got like French influence. So I should be more up to date with my French. stuff.
Yeah, the French Vietnamese crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Spanish were like, hell no.
Yeah.
And then when it became a state in 1812, it was like, okay, you can have Mardi Gras back.
So I'm guessing when that happened, though, there were still like French remnants, right? That's why they
course.
was able to like survive.
Yeah, they prevailed. It's just you had a different master, you know?
Louisiana is so interesting because it has that like French, the French Quarter, which has a French influence, but it's also known for a lot of like witchcraft and spirituality, right?
A lot of that comes from like voodoo, hoodoo, the slave trade, like more like the African roots.
Like the Haitian, yeah. But I guess it's the interesting marriage of the
all
French,
of these cultures.
yes, like the French culture with like that hoodoo voodoo. That's kind of cool when you think about it. The like the mixing pot of having, I guess, quote unquote, like the high society with like, unfortunately, like the enslavement of people, but like those people like prevailed and kept ties to their culture, and the melting pot was really cool, and that's kind of what we got is like the French, like the Creole culture, right?
By the way, it only takes, they say on average, 4% of people to resist for things to survive. So there were definitely at least 4%, if not more, of people that like kept a lot of their African spirituality and maybe blended it a little bit with like some Christianity, Catholicism, and that's how we have hoodoo and voodoo. They use a lot of like Bible verses and stuff in their witchcraft. It's like super cool to see. I like totally respect it.
We haven't done an episode on that because we want to like pay its respect. So if you're an expert or part of that culture, reach out to us because we'd love to have you on here.
I'm not touching it. I'm not trying to explain it and get myself cursed being like this girl is out of her lane. No, I definitely want to respect it because it's a very rich culture. But yeah, hopefully one day we find somebody that's down to do an experience exchange.
Down to clown.
Yeah. So in 1827, which is about 15 years after Louisiana became a state, a group of students had colorful costumes on and they danced through the street of New Orleans. And the reason why they did this was because they did like a study abroad thing where they went to Paris and they saw Mardi Gras over there and they were like, oh, let's bring it back.
Yeah, we fuck with this. Yeah.
So they brought it back and they were like, let's revive this. So that's really like the revival of Mardi Gras after Louisiana became a state.
That study abroad, I guess I call it symptomology of like, you're in another country, you don't give a fuck. Like that is such a mindset. I used to live in when I was in college, I lived in like what was essentially a hostel. So I knew a lot of people from different countries, specifically Sweden. And when they come to the US, specifically Santa Barbara, the Swedes go hard.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean, when I studied abroad, it was the same. You want to immerse yourself in the culture.
Yeah.
I also went hard in Germany.
Yes.
So 10 years later after that, so by this point, 1837, the first recorded New Orleans Mardi Gras parade took place, and it's a tradition that continues to this day. Interestingly enough, there was like a secret society of businessmen called the Mystic Crew of Columbus that organized a torchlit Mardi Gras procession with marching bands and rolling floats. So they up the ante on what the students did.
Were they from Louisiana State, you think? Or we don't know what college they went to?
Yeah, I don't know what college or university was around at that time. I didn't research that. But at this point, the secret society of businessmen did this, and Mardi Gras was forever changed to be an even bigger street celebration. They were also the ones that decided on the color scheme purple, green, and gold. And that's why that's a color scheme.
Oh,
because of the Mystic Crew, which I like their name too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought that I was curious where that came from. I figured the purple came from like regalness, and then the gold obviously
probably. Yeah.
Like I feel like those colors are not a coincidence. They didn't just like pick those. They have meaning.
Yeah. Purple was always purple and gold always associated with royalty. I'm not too sure about green, but it looks great. But beads have been a part of the Mardi Gras celebration since the 1890s when the Carnival King threw fake jewelry to his subjects. But the flashing was not.
Wait, who's a Carnival King?
It's just someone on the float that's like
the
named,
appointed. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So it's like when when you do the Christmas parade and Santa throws candy canes. Yeah.
We'll talk about the flashing later, but at this point, 1890s, there was no flashing.
We should have been talking about the flashing from the first opening line of this.
I'm saving the good stuff for closer to the end.
Okay.
So yeah, there were some lasting customs like throwing the beads and other like little trinkets, wearing masks, having the floats, and also eating king cake. And for all the Latinos out there, king cake is basically rosca, which is king's cake. It's the same thing where you have this nice decadent cake and there's a baby Jesus hidden in it, and then you cut the cake and whoever gets like the little baby Jesus has to throw the next party. Yeah. The king's cake is the same.
And it tastes like shit.
Maybe the ones that we're eating.
The Costco ones. They're just so dry. That's why you have to have like your hot chocolate, and I think like the little like frosting stuff and the little candied fruit is good, but the bread itself is so dry.
The king's cake from Louisiana is different. So like many carnavals, Mardi Gras have different types of like king's cake, and they're specifically, I forgot to write down what it is exactly, but for sure like the outside looks different. Like the rosca has more just like regular frosting, and then you can see some of the like pieces of fruit, but the king's cake is a vibrant like purple, green, and gold frosting.
Ooh,
like to the max. Yeah, I think I saw that the root ingredient, or it has like some cinnamon flavors, definitely like full of butter and decadent, but I forgot to write down exactly what it tastes like.
Have we decided, because I know we've talked about this, but we're doing all 50 states, and for sure we've decided that when we go to Louisiana, we're definitely going to hit, Bourbon Street.
100%.
Have we decided, though, if we would go to Mardi Gras?
If the time aligns, maybe.
Yeah, it could be an option. I think about it as I get older, because growing up, again, talking a lot about my college and Santa Barbara days, but I used to go to party in IV, and like the big party was like Halloween in IV. And I think about this now as a 35-year-old. I can't imagine hanging in Isla Vista for Halloween this day and age. And it's kind of the same. Like, I wonder if we did ever, when we go, if we're going to decide to align it with Mardi Gras, because I feel like that would be crazy.
I think pros and cons, it's going to be tourist season. Things are going to be way more expensive. Flights, hotels, stuff like that. Part of me is like, I'm too old for this shit. But then another part of me...
But you want to experience it.
I was going to say, the other part of me is like, but you want to see it at least once in your lifetime. Yeah. So, I don't know.
We should not want to say fast track it, because we got a lot of shit coming up, but like, we should go now that we're still young-ish. Not be in our 60s.
That might be a better time, because then you really don't care. It's like, I'm retired. Yeah. I don't care. But yeah, Louisiana, fun fact, is the only state which Mardi Gras is a legal holiday.
Oh, really?
It's a legal holiday. Yep. Yeah. It's a state holiday. However, there are a lot of carnival festivities in other states like Alabama and Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So yes, Mardi Gras somehow came to belong to Louisiana, even though there's like arguments about its origin, if it was actually in Mobile. Ultimately, it's a southern thing, but Louisiana is like the really big hub for it. But Alabama and Mississippi. It's funny because
when I think Mardi Gras, I don't think the South. Mm-hmm. Like, it just doesn't.
I didn't either, because Louisiana takes all the attention.
Yes.
But upon research, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Because borders aren't real. People migrated for sure. Yes. Like, I'm sure that these like French, African influences like definitely spread to border states. But yeah, each region has its own events and traditions. So Alabama and Mississippi Mardi Gras look different than New Orleans Mardi Gras, which looks different than French Mardi Gras, which looks different than Brazilian Carnaval.
I want to interject there. You maybe touched on it, but I don't know if I understood it. So why is it that in Brazil, when they do Carnival, that's in on a Friday? You said Friday and not Tuesday.
Yeah, I did not write that down. They have a reason, but I do not remember.
Okay, so there is an actual reason.
Yes, yes, there is.
But it's still celebrating the same like thing.
Yeah, I can bring it up on the next episode. But yeah,
you know what? As much fun as that looks, and like it does look super fun, I don't know if I would ever have an interest in going to Brazil for Carnival. I feel like I would 100 times rather go to like Louisiana for Mardi Gras, even though I'm sure the Brazilian Carnival is like a million times bigger, right?
Why is that?
Like, why I wouldn't want to go? I I don't know. Brazil. I mean, Brazil seems like a really cool country, but it's just not one of the countries I'd like want to visit. And nothing against Brazil personally, but like if I'm going South America, like I think I'd rather go to like Peru or like I think Peru would be cool. Which is like the vibe is totally different, right?
Yeah,
you got like the calmness and the craziness.
Yeah.
There's something about Brazil, maybe subconsciously because I don't speak Portuguese.
Oh, yeah. You would feel like out of your depth.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. But I feel like with our Spanish and our English, we could get.
I was gonna say,
yeah, we could figure it out.
I think we would be okay. But I also agree. Like right now, kind of traveling outside of the U.S. is a little sus.
Yeah.
So I would also want to prioritize Louisiana, not necessarily because I favor it, but more like our safety, not having to worry about converting like our currency and stuff. But like, I mean, if I was stupid rich, I knew I'd be safe, and I had all the PTO and money in the world, I would want to do all of it.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of our U.S. trips, we don't have any U.S. state scheduled for this year, do we?
No,
we may need to do one.
No, we do. Alaska.
That's true.
That's a state.
Alaska. I was gonna say, yeah, like, why are we not doing a state? Yes, we're doing a big one actually.
Yes,
so Alaska.
yes, I'm very excited to do Alaska. Yeah,
and that's coming up.
Yes, I know.
Right around the corner.
Yes, very exciting. Okay, now let's talk about the flushing.
Titties.
Let's talk about
let's
titties.
do it.
Yes. So, how did that happen? So,
do we need a reason?
do we? I guess we don't need a reason, but we have an origin story. So let's go into that. So, like I said, the beads started since the 1890s,
and those were clean. Those had no sin attached to them, right?
Yes, but the beads in exchange for flashing didn't start until, of course, the 70s.
Nice.
Free love, nudist movement, world peace, all that. So yeah, nudist groups showed up in the 70s to Mardi Gras and were basically like, show me mine or show yours, I'll show mine.
Yeah.
And then they would exchange beads, and ever since then it really picked up. And that's how that started. And the police try to tame the behavior, but you can't stop people if they really want to do something.
Yeah.
So at this point, they just kind of like look the other way.
Yeah.
And
again, going back to Folsom Street Fair,
Yeah.
like you can kind of do whatever you want during Folsom Street Fair with no repercussion.
Yeah.
And I think they've just kind of accepted it.
Yeah, similar vibe. But men would also flash their goods. It's just that, like, with reality show and stuff, you don't want to film a man in his junk. I'm sorry.
Nobody wants to see more junk.
Nobody really wants to see more of that. There's
Yes.
plenty of it out there.
Yes.
Of course, like, what's more attractive is the women. So that's why people...
That took over.
Yeah, that's why people think, like, oh, it's only the women flashing, but anybody can flash in exchange for some beads.
Yeah.
And then also just, like, tourist spring break vibes, they perpetuated the culture.
Mm-hmm.
But anecdotally, it has died down. Like, it was really, like, at its peak in, like, the 2000s.
90s,
and
2000s.
but it's not as common anymore.
There's a bunch of prudes out there, that's why.
I think it's the rise in, like, smartphones and being able to, like, tag and identify people versus, like,
true.
I don't know, in the early 2000s, like, you would really have to go through a lot of effort to, like, take a picture, upload it onto MySpace or whatever, and then try to sleuth through, like, MySpace. And before then, they didn't have, like, geotagging and stuff. Like, it's not the same.
This is now it's my turn to put on the tin hat. I just get a sense that party culture has died in general. Because I think...
COVID.
I guess COVID, but, like... Once the alcohol's flowing, the good times are flowing. And I think that's one of the sayings, right? Like, let the good times flow. Like, I don't think people are having the rational thought. Like, the prefrontal has gone off. You're not thinking, like, let me make a cognitive choice to, like, not put flash the camera because that could be geotag. Like, people aren't thinking through that at the moment. I just think, like, party culture has, like, died.
Alcohol rates have gone down, but tobacco use has gone up because of vapes. Yeah. Yeah, but a lot more people are sober now. So, very interesting.
Take the win.
So
this generation does not know how to go clubbing. I'm gonna throw that out there.
That's very true. The clubs died after COVID, but Marty,
you never went to the clubs.
I did a few times with you. Yes, I did. I went to the gay clubs. I love the gay. I can't do straight clubs. They're so gross. But anyway, so Mardi Gras was the last hurrah, not just for food anymore, but all deviant behavior.
Yes.
So that's where we're at with Mardi Gras. Nice. It's the last hurrah in all the ways before Ash Wednesday when you're supposed to be good for 40 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that was a super fun episode. I like, talking about these traditions, and it's cool that we finally got around to it. I don't know why we hadn't done Mardi Gras. I feel like that's right up our alley.
Yeah.
If you celebrate Mardi Gras or you have any plans, let us know.
Or if you have some wild stories from the 90s, 2000s, we would love to know.
Yeah.
We can keep you anonymous if you want.
I'm going to put you on blast.
But we do have a comment from a previous episode for In Bulk. So Tasha laughed at when you said the sheep goes bah.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you didn't know your animals.
Yeah, I was like messing up, and then you were like, the sheep goes bah. So she thought that was funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you haven't joined our giveaway yet, we do have our active giveaway. Make sure to listen to episode 115, Love Rituals, for the prompt. I was listening back, and I thought we put it more towards the beginning, but it's like beginning middle, so you have to kind of listen through a little bit. It's
in the first third.
It's in the first third. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I loved that episode. It was so. I was listening back to it today, actually. It was actually really funny.
Yeah, I did too. I listened to it today as well. But yes, get in touch with us. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky at Giancarlo and GenCarlo.com, or on Facebook as Kythera Collective LLC.
And as a reminder, we do now have a loyalty club. So if you're part of the Patreon at a cafe or tequila level, you have exclusive access to discounts with partners that we've made, and we're growing.
Yeah, this month we have Innovative Wellness for all services, waxing, facials,
Go get
aura
that coochie
cleansing.
wax for Valentine's is passed already.
Yeah.
Still go get it waxed.
If that's what makes you feel beautiful.
Yes.
Jamie for aura reading or aura reading for your pets. And then High Witchery for some awesome apothecary plant-based goods.
I gotta meet Liz. I haven't met her from High Witchery, so.
Oh, yeah, she's cool. You will one day. Okay. All right. Remember, if you like the show, rate it wherever you're listening. Rate it 5 stars and share it with a friend that might find the history of Mardi Gras interesting.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching today's episode.
Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be in signing off.
Bye.
Bye.